Grand Rising, loves. So this is the altar spread for the collective today. And the sacred geometry that showed up was dodecahedron. Dodecahedron, and I actually have a quartz dodecahedron. This is a platonic solid, and platonic solids are believed to hold specific wisdom, especially when you meditate with them. And so the dodecahedron brings the wisdom of unity consciousness, but it showed up in the reverse today. So showing up in the reverse, it's actually saying you are stuck in duality thinking. You are having a really hard time seeing the unity in everything. And you are living in a separatist mindset. And so it's really important for us, and actually our goal in the human experience is to return to unity consciousness. That's how we began, and that's actually the direction in which we're headed. And so showing up in the reverse is really see how everything is connected. And know that the decisions you make do affect the continuum. And so intention is everything. Returning to heart-centeredness and authentic, pure intention is paramount. So be mindful of that. Pachamama, she brings the message of also connectedness. We are having the human experience. So we have these physical bodies, but we share this space with plants, minerals, animals, other humans. It's not just you. People get in such a selfish, which is the dodecahedron in reverse, selfish mindset that you become greedy and self-centered and say that it's all separate. And that's not the case. So Pachamama brings the message of just connect. Remember how beautiful it is. And no matter what's happening in your life right now, work-wise, relationship-wise, family-wise, go plant a tree. Help save an animal. Or love an animal. Be kind to a stranger. And see what happens. See how that creates a ripple of grace that comes back on you. And wolfenite, and I don't have wolfenite. I don't have a piece of wolfenite, but I did Google a picture. It actually grows in blades, almost like barite. So if you remember that beautiful blue crystal that I shared the other day that looked almost like a butterfly fanning its wings or warming its wings in sun, this is how it grows in like this bladed fan, but it's orange. It's beautiful. And so wolfenite brings the message of creativity. You have to be very aware of how your thoughts create your reality, and we are all co-creators. So you're not in your own little world and someone else is in their own little world and someone else is in their own little world. You are co-creating this world, right? And so for those of us who are doing work for the consciousness, it feels really dense, and like myself, and it's really exhausting because there's so many that aren't doing the work. And because we know that the work we're doing affects the continuum, but it's almost like dragging dead weight. Kind of like how those Border Patrol trucks are dragging tires through the sand. I don't know, that's a bad analogy. But that's what I'm saying. I feel like that when I'm doing my work for the consciousness. It feels like that. But I know that I am constantly putting in the work, but it is exhausting. And so Palhik Mana, the medicine of the butterfly kachina, shows up to also say, beautiful things are coming. And when you create beautiful things, you receive the grace of more beautiful things. So we are in a transformative phase right now, but you have to put forth a little bit of effort to kickstart that grace. And you can't just sit and think it's going to be poured on you, which a whole lot of people are doing. And that's that, like we talked about yesterday in the spread, that's that spirituality with no substance. If I share affirmations, I'll be blessed. No, you actually have to put in the work. And that's how it comes back on you. So this is another cohesive spread that's really telling you to be aware. There's nothing outside of you. There's nothing separate. So start to think in those terms, like you're affecting everything. So yes, we are uniquely magnificent, each and every single one of us. So when I say we are one, but you are not me, that is the fucking truth. So I had some people ask, like, what cards do I get for myself? Like, what's the difference between the collective spread and like one I would pull for myself? So I'm going to share mine today. So yes, I do get very different cards for myself because I do the fucking work. So the sacred geometry that showed up for me is the fruit of life, also right side up. The fruit of life brings message of unraveling a new layer of abundance for myself. And it's reward. It's reward for practices and also reward for acts of service. And lightning showed up. Lightning is talking about me being endowed with a higher level of wisdom from the cosmos. So that's been happening steadily. Fulgurate, and we've seen fulgurate in our conscious spread. So for the consciousness, this showed up, and if you remember, it talks about prayers being answered. And I think this showed up for me because I don't spend a whole lot of time in prayer. Prayer is speaking to source, whereas meditation is listening. I spend 99.9% of my time listening. But this is saying, go ahead and ask for it and you'll receive, because that's what's happening. So I'm going to actually make a mindful meditation on this tonight, actually setting forth into motion some things that I desire for myself, because this is telling me to do it. And I don't necessarily do that. I let myself be in surrender. And then this beautiful lady showed up, Mayu, Soma from the Galactic Heart. And I love how this is worded. It's saying that I am given nourishment from the milk of the cosmos. So I am being fed by the Galactic Mother. And I love that. And I really feel that. I feel that in my experience. And the more I expand, I definitely am feeling nourished by the Galactic Mother, by Source, and also by Gaia, because I put in the work in this realm for her as well. But I wanted to share something with you so maybe you can understand the concept of unity consciousness. It's a really hard thing for people to understand, and I've had this conversation in private message with some people on the path, new on the path, because they have an issue with me saying you're not like me. And it's not ego. If I was to say you're not like me and you can't be this, that's ego. So like when someone says you can't ascend unless you're vegan, that's ego. You can't ascend unless you practice celibacy, that's ego. I'm not putting spirituality in a box. What I'm saying is, when your intent is pure, there's no right or wrong. You align, and that's the magic of of being heart-centered and going to a place of pure intent, because you're really aware of the decisions you make and how they affect those around you. I know that I trigger a whole lot of fucking people, but that's not ego. You're triggered because I'm actually pressing on your shadow. And that's a good thing. And a lot of people go away, and some people actually rise to the challenge. And those that rise to the challenge actually will receive the gifts of grace. So, and that's because they do the work. It has nothing to do with me and everything to do with them. But this is a beautiful coin. It's one coin. But this side is nothing like this side. That's us. This side is me. This side is the consciousness. We're still a coin. That's the difference. We are one. You are not like me. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me.